Just the other day, I was grabbing a cup of coffee with a friend of mine. Let's call him Mike. Mike and I were sitting across from each other in this busy downtown cafe, and he was completely glued to his phone. He was so incredibly hyped up. He was showing me this obscure new cryptocurrency he had just bought into, and a handful of super trendy tech stocks that he was absolutely convinced were going to go to the moon by the end of the year. He was talking 100 miles an hour about dividend yields, market trends, bullish charts, and his grand plan for early retirement. He looked like a Wall Street genius in the making. But then the barista called his name. He walked up to the counter to pay for his $5 iced latte, tapped his sleek metal credit card on the machine, and it beeped. Declined. He laughed it off. He played it cool, pulled a different card out of his wallet, paid for the coffee, and as we walked out, he casually mentioned that his main credit card was completely maxed out. Not only was it maxed out, but the credit card company was hitting him with a brutal interest rate hovering between 20 and 24%. I almost stopped dead in my tracks. I almost spilled my coffee right there on the sidewalk. Here's a smart, hardworking guy trying to build long-term wealth by throwing darts at the stock market, hoping to maybe squeeze out a 10 or 12% return if he gets lucky. And all the while, a 20 to 24% interest rate is burning a massive hole in his pocket. It is exactly like trying to build a beautiful multi-million-dollar mansion directly on top of a sinkhole. You can put in the nicest imported granite countertops. You can install the fanciest crystal chandeliers. You can paint the walls with the most expensive paint. But because the foundation is fundamentally broken, eventually the ground is going to give way, and the whole beautiful house is going to collapse into the dirt. Welcome back to another episode of Grow with Tony. I am incredibly excited that you are tuning in today because we are going to tackle a topic that absolutely drives me crazy. It is something I see happening everywhere, every single day, and it is destroying people's financial futures without them even realizing it. And the tragic part is my friend Mike is not alone, not even close. We live in an era where we see the glamorous side of investing everywhere we look. You open Instagram or TikTok and you see the overnight crypto millionaires, the day traders sitting on the beach with their laptops, the real estate gurus flipping houses in 30 days. Everyone wants to skip to the fun stuff. Everyone wants to buy the shiny investments. But what the social media algorithms absolutely do not tell you is that there is a specific, mathematical, and historically proven sequence to building wealth. There is an exact order of operations for your money. If you get this sequence wrong, you are quite literally leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table over the course of your lifetime. You are making the journey 10 times harder than it needs to be. But if you get this sequence right, if you follow the blueprint I am about to give you, financial independence ceases to be a dream. It becomes almost a mathematical inevitability. Just a quick reminder before we dive into the blueprint, everything we discuss today is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and should not be taken as personalized financial advice. So today, right now, we are going to lay down the ultimate wealth blueprint. I am going to walk you through the exact step-by-step order you need to put your money to work. We are going deep today. No fluff, no get-rich-quick schemes, no secret trading algorithms, just the strategic, proven, step-by-step path to absolute financial freedom. Let's begin. Step 1. Before you even think about opening a brokerage account, before you even look at the stock market, you have to build your financial armor. I am talking about establishing a rock-solid emergency fund. I know it sounds so boring. You clicked on a podcast about wealth building, and the first thing I am telling you to do is put cash in a boring bank account. But listen to me carefully. An emergency fund is not an investment. You are not trying to make a massive return on this money. It is insurance. It is the psychological and mathematical safety net that prevents you from making terrible, desperate financial decisions when life inevitably punches you in the face. And let's be honest, life is going to punch you in the face. It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. Imagine your car transmission suddenly blows out on the highway, and the mechanic says it will cost $3,000 to fix. Or you have a sudden medical emergency, or your roof starts leaking, or your company does massive layoffs and you lose your income on a random Tuesday. If you do not have cash sitting safely in a high-yield savings account or a money market fund, what are your options? Your options are terrible. You either have to put that $3,000 emergency on a credit card charging you 20-something% interest, which traps you in a cycle of debt. Or if you skip this step and put all your money in the stock market, you are forced to sell your investments to get the cash. And Murphy's Law guarantees that the exact moment you need to sell your stocks to pay for your car, the stock market will be down 20%, meaning you are locking in massive losses. An emergency fund stops that cycle, but people get overwhelmed. They hear financial experts say you need 6 months of living expenses saved up. They look at their bank account, realize they are thousands of dollars away from that goal, and they just give up. Do not overwhelm yourself. Start small. Your immediate goal is to save exactly $1,000. Just get $1,000 in the bank as fast as humanly possible. Sell things around the house, work a few extra hours, do whatever it takes to get that first 1,000. Why? Because $1,000 covers about 80% of the annoying everyday emergencies. A blown tire, a broken refrigerator, a minor medical bill. Once you have that $1,000, take a breath. You are already ahead of a massive portion of the population. Then slowly start pushing that goal to 1 full month of essential living expenses. Your rent, your groceries, utilities. Once you hit 1 month, you push it to 3 months, and eventually you build it to 3 to 6 months depending on how stable your job is. This step is not just about the math, it is about your mental health. When you have 3 months of cash sitting in the bank, your entire posture changes. You walk differently, you sleep better at night, you don't panic when your boss schedules an unexpected meeting. You stop making decisions based on fear and survival, and you start making decisions based on logic and long-term planning. You are no longer living on the edge of a cliff. Alright, your armor is in place, you have your cash buffer. Now we move to step 2. It is time to put out the fire. Step 2 is to aggressively eliminate all toxic, high-interest debt. I classify toxic debt as anything charging you more than about 8% annually. This almost always means credit cards, payday loans, and high-interest personal loans. Let's go back to the math, because the math on credit card debt is absolutely terrifying. Let's say you have $5,000 in credit card debt. The average interest rate right now is hovering around 20 to 24%. If you only make the minimum payments on that $5,000 balance, it will take you over 15 years to pay it off. And in the process, you will pay the credit card company nearly $7,000 just in interest. You will pay more in interest than the actual stuff you bought in the first place. This is why investing while you have credit card debt is an illusion. If you are trying to invest in an S&P 500 index fund, the historical average return over the last century is about 10% per year. So you are making 10% on your investments, but you are losing 24% on your debt. You are taking 1 step forward and 2 massive steps backward. Paying off a credit card that charges 24% interest is mathematically equivalent to finding a magical investment that guarantees a 24% return, completely risk-free and completely tax-free. Not Warren Buffett, not Ray Dalio, not the greatest hedge fund managers in the history of the world can guarantee you a 24% return. But you can give that return to yourself right now, simply by paying off your toxic debt. How do you do it? You list out all of your consumer debts. You pay the absolute minimum on all of them to keep your credit score safe, and then you take every single extra dollar you can find in your budget and you throw it like a grenade at the debt with the highest interest rate. Once that one is dead, you take all that money and attack the debt with the next highest interest rate. This is called the debt avalanche method, and mathematically, it will save you the most money and get you out of debt the fastest. You must slay the dragon in your living room before you go out trying to build a castle. Now, there is one massive, extremely important exception to the rule of paying off debt before investing, and it brings us to step 3 of the wealth blueprint, capturing your employer match. If you work for a company that offers a 401k, a 403b, or a similar workplace retirement plan, and they offer to match your contributions, you take it immediately. Even if you still have credit card debt, you take the match. Why? Because an employer match is the only legal free money you will ever be offered in your entire life. It is a part of your total compensation package. If you do not take the match, you are voluntarily taking a pay cut. You are leaving your own money on your boss's desk. Let me break down how powerful this is. Let's say you make $60,000 a year. Your company says they will match your 401k contributions dollar for dollar up to 5% of your salary. 5% of $60,000 is $3,000. So if you contribute $3,000 over the course of the year out of your paycheck, your company will magically drop another $3,000 into your account. You just made a 100% return on your money on day one. You put in $1, they put in $1. Where else on earth can you instantly double your money with zero risk? Nowhere. If you were walking down the street and saw a crisp $100 bill on the sidewalk, you wouldn't just keep walking. You would bend down and pick it up. Your employer match is thousands of $100 bills sitting on the sidewalk. Pick them up. The rule for step 3 is simple. Contribute exactly enough to your workplace plan to get the maximum match from your employer. Not a penny less because you want all the free money, but also not a penny more at this stage. Why? Because we have better places to put your next available dollars. Alright, let's recap where we are. You have your emergency safety net. Your toxic, high-interest debt is completely wiped out, and you are automatically capturing all the free money from your employer. You have built an incredible foundation. Most people never even make it this far, but now the fun really begins. We are entering what I call the tax optimization zone. Step 4 is opening and maxing out an IRA, which stands for Individual Retirement Account. You might be asking, Tony, if I already have a 401k at work, why am I opening a separate IRA? Why not just put more money into my 401k? The answer comes down to 2 things: control and fees. When you invest in a corporate 401k, you are restricted to a menu of investment options chosen by your HR department. Often, these are terrible, clunky mutual funds with high management fees. A 1% management fee might not sound like a lot, but over 30 years, that 1% fee will eat hundreds of thousands of dollars of your potential wealth. With an IRA, you are in the driver's seat. You open the account yourself at a major discount brokerage like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab. You have access to the entire stock market. You can buy ultra-low-cost, broad market index funds that charge practically zero fees. And within the IRA world, you have a massive choice to make, traditional or Roth. For the vast majority of people, specifically younger people or anyone who expects their income to grow significantly in the future, the Roth IRA is the absolute holy grail of wealth building. Here is how a Roth IRA works. Unlike a traditional account where you get a tax break today, with a Roth, you fund the account with money that has already been taxed. You take the money out of your checking account and put it in the Roth. But here's the magic. Once that money is inside the Roth IRA, it grows completely tax-free forever. All the capital gains, all the dividends, completely tax-free. And the best part, when you reach retirement age and you go to pull that money out to live on, you pay absolutely zero taxes on the withdrawals. Imagine compounding your money for 30 or 40 years. Imagine building an account balance of $1 million, $2 million, or $3 million. And when you withdraw that money to fund your dream retirement, the IRS cannot touch a single cent of it. It is entirely yours. That is the superpower of the Roth IRA. The current contribution limit for an IRA is $7,500 for 2026, or $8,600 if you're 50 or older, and your goal in Step 4 is to max it out every single year without fail. Now hold on tight, because Step 5 is the secret weapon. If you are eligible for this account, it is actually more powerful than your 401k, and it is more powerful than your Roth IRA. It is the most misunderstood account in the American financial system. I am talking about the HSA, the health savings account. Most people completely misunderstand the HSA. They think it is just a glorified debit card that you use to buy cold medicine at the pharmacy or to pay for a teeth cleaning at the dentist. They put a few $100 in, spend it, and think that's all it does. No. If used correctly, the HSA is the ultimate stealth retirement account because it possesses something no other account has, the triple tax advantage. Let me explain the triple threat. Number 1, the money you contribute to an HSA goes in tax-free, meaning it reduces your taxable income for the year right now. Number 2, once the money is in the account, you do not have to leave it in cash. You can invest it in the stock market just like an IRA, and it grows completely tax-free. And number 3, if you withdraw the money to pay for qualified medical expenses, the withdrawal is completely tax-free. Tax-free in, tax-free growth, tax-free out. It is the unicorn of the tax code. But here is the pro-level strategy that the wealthy use to exploit the HSA. The rule says you can withdraw the money tax-free to reimburse yourself for medical expenses, but the rule does not specify a time limit on when you have to reimburse yourself. So here's what you do. If you can afford it from your normal cash flow, pay for your current medical expenses, your doctor copays, your prescriptions, your glasses out of pocket. Do not touch the HSA money. Let the money in your HSA stay invested in S&P 500 index funds. It will sit there and compound and grow for 20, 30, or 40 years. What you do is save your medical receipts. Scan them, put them in a digital folder on your computer, and back it up. Now, a word of caution, you must keep impeccable records. Save every receipt digitally, back them up in multiple locations, and never claim these expenses on any other tax form. The IRS can audit you, so documentation is everything. Fast forward 3 decades, you are retiring. That HSA account has compounded into $300,000 or $400,000 of tax-free wealth. You can now take that digital folder full of receipts from 20 years ago, tally them up, and pull that exact amount of money out of your HSA, completely tax-free, to spend on whatever you want. A boat, a vacation, a new car. It doesn't matter, because you are technically reimbursing yourself for past medical expenses. It is an absolute game changer for building generational wealth. Max out your HSA if you have access to a high deductible health plan. For 2026, that's up to $4,400 for individuals or $8,750 for families. Once the HSA is fully funded, we move to Step 6. This is where we bring out the heavy machinery. Now we go back to your employer's 401k plan and we crank up your contributions all the way to the maximum legal limit. In Step 3, we only contributed enough to get the employer match. Now we are trying to max out the entire account. The contribution limits for 401k plans are massive, $24,500 for 2026. This step is where you are building massive, heavy, undeniable wealth. By pushing tens of thousands of dollars into a traditional 401k, you are legally sheltering a massive portion of your current income from the government. If you make $100,000 a year and you put $20,000 into your traditional 401k, the government only taxes you as if you made $80,000. You are saving thousands of dollars in taxes right now this year, and you are taking that saved money and forcing it to multiply in the market. Compound interest thrives on big numbers, and maxing out a 401k provides the big numbers necessary to build a multi-million-dollar portfolio. If you can reach this step and sustain it, you are in the top 1% of savers, and your financial future is incredibly bright. Finally, we reach the summit. Step 7, the playground, the taxable brokerage account. This is the fascinating part. Step 7 is the step that most amateur investors try to do first. They download a trading app on their phone, link their checking account, and start buying random stocks. And that is exactly why they struggle to build real momentum. A standard taxable brokerage account has absolutely no rules. There are no contribution limits. You can put $100 in or $100 million in. There are no age restrictions on when you can take the money out, and there are no required minimum distributions. You can buy individual stocks, bonds, ETFs, options, whatever you want. But in exchange for all that freedom, you get absolutely zero help on taxes. The government gives you no shelter here. Every single time one of your companies pays a dividend, you get taxed on it that year. Every single time you sell a stock or an index fund for a profit, you have to pay capital gains tax. This creates what we call tax drag. It is like trying to run a marathon while dragging a parachute behind you. You can still finish the race, but the friction makes it much, much harder. A portfolio in a tax-advantaged account like a Roth IRA will mathematically crush the exact same portfolio in a taxable account over a 30-year period, simply because the taxable account is bleeding out money to the IRS every single year. However, once you have followed the blueprint, once your emergency fund is full, your bad debt is gone, and you have maximized every single tax-sheltered account available to you in steps 3, 4, 5, and 6, the taxable account becomes an incredibly powerful tool. The taxable account becomes your bridge to absolute freedom. Because you can access this money at any time without age penalties, this is the account that allows you to retire early. If you want to retire at 45, you cannot easily live off your 401k or IRA without paying penalties, because those are designed for traditional retirement age, but you can live off your taxable account. This account gives you the flexibility to buy a business, to put a massive cash down payment on a dream home, or to simply walk away from your corporate job a decade early. It is the final piece of the wealth puzzle. So before we close out this episode, let's take a deep breath and bring this all together. What exactly did we learn today? We learned that building lasting wealth is not about getting lucky on a single stock pick or timing the crypto market perfectly. It is about discipline, and it is about following a strict mathematical order of operations. First, you build your unshakable shield with an emergency fund. Second, you stop the bleeding by eliminating toxic, high-interest debt that is dragging you backward. Third, you grab the guaranteed risk-free return by getting your full employer match. Fourth, you take control of your investments and build a tax-free fortress by maxing out your Roth IRA. Fifth, you unlock the triple tax superpower of the health savings account. Sixth, you build deep, heavy wealth by going back and maxing out your corporate 401k. And finally, seventh, you create ultimate life flexibility by investing your overflow cash into a standard taxable brokerage account. If you commit to following these 7 steps in this exact precise order, you aren't just crossing your fingers and hoping to be wealthy one day. You are actively engineering it. You are building a financial fortress layer by layer, a fortress that no sudden economic downturn, no unexpected medical emergency, and no high-interest trap can ever destroy. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with me today. I hope this blueprint changes the way you look at your money. Now, before you go, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And head down to the comments section right now and tell me what topic you want me to cover next. Are you struggling with budgeting? Do you want a deep dive into index funds? Let me know in the comments and I will make it happen for you. Keep building, keep investing, and as always, keep growing. I'll catch you in the next episode.